Hi, folks. Nick. Whoop, that might help. Hi, folks. Nick Tockert here with the Historical Fencing Guild. Well, before we get into it, and I got stuff to get into. Everyone ding-a-lings me whenever I start a broadcast. We will have to talk about how we pay our bills around these parts, won't we? So the first thing we want to shout out is to my amazing Patreon patrons over at the Historical Fencing Guild Patreon. The link is going to scroll by after this reminder that martial arts are inherently dangerous. Please do so at your own caution. And be sure to hit like, because we want to like, share, and subscribe so that I can fight the algorithm. Oh, I know what's wrong. Hold on. Let's snuggle up a bit, folks. That's much better. Isn't that like some reason it doesn't look right? I was laid out for my other program. But I've got some stuff to talk about. Because since we were together for this program, I've had some acquisitions given to me by the generous Joey Bachman and Trelena Bachman, both of whom are glorious and wonderful and make the day better and fill out jeans nicely. Now, if I seem a little scatterbrained, it's because I've only been home a few minutes. I had one of those days where I drove an hour for a doctor's appointment only to find out I was a week off. So next week I get to do it all over again. That's fine. That's good. We can make this work. But this channel is also brought to you by sales of the Simple Sword. Now, guys, the holidays are coming up. It's not too late to get your copies. Put in orders of the copies of the Simple Sword for anybody you love who is interested in Western martial arts, who wants to get in shape. This is just a great system for all the way from so you've never touched a sword to being able to teach people how to use them. And with that wonderful basis, I have two spin-offs, the Fighting Axe and the Simple Spear, two small little beautiful addendums to help you get better at using assorted martial arts weaponry and develop the skills and teach and understand the history. A lot of fun to be had. It's great. I really believe if you're going to do gaming, RPG gaming, it's great to understand how the weapons actually work. It will make you much more team spear. Now, why this is funny is last Saturday, which, of course, was between when I saw you last and now, I had what we call our Friendsgiving. I believe it was Saturday. Yes. And we had Jim Robertson, who you know from the Guild channel, is a wonderful fighter. And we had Joey and Trelena. And we had my brother Ricky over. And it was a wonderful time. But Jim and Trey and Joey weren't sure they'd see us for the holidays, so they brought over presents. I did not expect presents. I got misty-eyed. It was a thing. But it also means, in the case of what Joey and Trelena brought me, I have materials to review for this channel. Jim brought me magic cards because I am a geek. But that's not what this channel's about. Now, it's funny because they weren't here for last week's show, okay? And I am so glad that Foxy, who was here at 7:43, I was here first again. No, I was here before you. I just hadn't commented yet. No, I was the first like. No, hey, children, well, don't behave. Get into as much mischief as you can. I'm not your parent. But as long as you're civil, it's fine. Now, for those who don't recall, I was telling Foxy that she needed about a 4-foot stick. Right? 4 or 5 foot stick. I have a new staff. Look at it. Bask in its hardwood glory. Oh, it's so good. It is a Trailblazer walking stick. I left the tag, the nice leathery tag on, because it's a nice leathery tag, and you never know when a bit of leather will come in handy. It is just so nice. The grip is just perfect for my hands. And the slight spiral grooving lets you know exactly where you are lengthwise. The foot is positive. It seems, I believe it's hickory. It's stout. I love this stick. And I was laughing because I was talking about this is basically what Foxy needs. You train with one of these because you can train in spear, you can train in staff, you can train in longsword, you can train in single sword with a bit of reach. And that will build up your wrists and forearms in control. Wonderful gift. I love this. I've been walking around with it. It's been a long time since I've had a staff that someone has given me that I walk with. I have a couple staves. It has one ding, of course, because I can't have a staff without dropping it at one point or another because I use them. But it's beautiful, and I love it, and I'm very appreciative. So this is glorious. You guys have been awful quiet in the chat. It says I'm live, so I must still be live. I really recommend, because, okay, let me see. Can I show you its height? Here we go. Look at this. I like this height right here because I can almost crutch it. And if I'm wearing my shoes, I basically can. So it's very good height for walking with a stick and maintaining proper posture. Ooh. So if you can get something like this, not only for those of us with mobility issues is it handy, it's a great training tool, and it's a wonderful deterrent. Because people see you walk with a cane, they go, ha! They see you walk with a stick like that, and they go, My thumb hurts today. But that bit of review is very easy. The next bit is a little more challenging. And I realize Thesis said, a week from today, my parents/employers are heading off to see my sister for Christmas, so we will have plenty of time to train. I plan to start a bit of light staff on top of whatever weapon she decides she wants to use. We are still searching for what she is happiest with. She may really like Joe staff. If she wants something shorter, bow staff can be a lot for somebody her height if it's not scaled down. She may find Joe staff to be comfortable. If there's anything I can do to help, as she is stout and aggressive, stout and aggressive, shield work may be her bread and butter. She may like sword and board. And that might be where you might consider starting from. Because when you have somebody who's fairly stout, who can be rooted, putting a shield in that offhand is just a thing. I did the same thing to Jim. And it really helped. It was considered a mistake. A lot of people are like, why did you put a shield in his hand? I'm like, because he needs it. And it made him happy. And then he made a really nifty shield. Granted, you live somewhere where the heat is low, but a very inexpensive saucer sleds and a bit of good rope or paracord make amazing shields. So she may like that. And she may like just using an axe. Is she thrusty or concussion attacking? How are her natural movements? She hasn't found a sword she likes yet, but there are lots of double dagger forms that she likes. Oh, see, that's a good place to live. And be careful, because what you might be thinking of a double dagger form when she's wielded is really a double sword form because it's scaled to her. So a lot of it depends on the length of the so-called dagger as opposed to her reach. For example, this is a dagger, okay? This is a kukri. The blade is just a bit shorter than my forearm. So this is still if I grab it here, this is at the very edge of a large knife to a short sword in my hand. You see how I come to that biomechanical conclusion? Just by the reach. Once you get much longer than your forearm, you are definitely in short sword territory. So that might be something she really likes. If she is punchy, there are all sorts of wonderful weapons like elkhorn daggers. Those could really work, especially if she's got a leaning towards Wing Chun. Sorry. Yes, that's how. Oh, when she is fighting, she's much more slashy, stabby than smashy. Early, okay. Early butterfly knives. Butterfly knives might be perfect for her if that's the case, because the early versions of butterfly knives, before they evolved into looking like big butter knives, were actually long triangular dudes. They were about half again longer than you expect, but a isosceles triangle almost. So yeah, well, it'd have to be isosceles. No, it's a right triangle, but way out there. No, it is isosceles. I step back. But so a form like that might really benefit her. And again, if she's boxery, the Deerhorn daggers would be great. Now, and that's what I love. I love doing that. My buddy Joey purchased me, because this is Trey. I can tell this is Trey. This is Trey energy. Trey and I have a staff exchange scenario kind of thing going. Joey, however, bought me Kylmus. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. But they make entry-level knives and axes. Some of it can be a little and some of it can be really good. But he bought me a set. And we'll go by size, probably. Because it came with this lovely little hatchet. Now, my buddy Steve, and that hatchet is still, I believe, in the living room, bought me a beautiful SOG hatchet. And I love it, don't get me wrong. But this is much more lightweight. So this is a very interesting little hatchet. This is an actual function. Oh, they swap sticks every Christmas, and sometimes in the swapping them, they touch. Don't threaten me with a good time, Johnny. But no, this beautiful little hatchet, and I quite like it. It has, allegedly, this is a wire cutter stripper, and then three different nut adjustments. But the balance is superb. It's very, very light. I almost want to throw it. And it is rigged where you could actually swap out the blade. This is so nice. And it's neat. It's not my normal everyday meat. It's just neat. So I went to look up the set because this whole set has been interesting. I can't find it anywhere. I don't know if this is an older set he found that somebody had left behind somewhere at a Walmart, or it's a new set that isn't heavily known. But it's a fascinating little axe, and I'm going to do full review. I may cut something with it, but it's lightweight, and it's got the glass fill handle, so it's actually impact absorbent, which is really, really important to me. This is nice. This is not, however, the best part. Oh, wait. Oh. She is much more of a healer than a fighter. She would rather injure someone than kill or maim. Okay. Yes, I would. Then you are definitely in the realm of think like a grilled cheese. Quit talking dirty to me while I'm trying to think, dear. She's very much in the realm of have you just tried giving her a short club? I'm serious. Just get her an old school nightstick. straight stick of wood, about this long with a little lanyard. I've got one bed near my bed. Because there was a while where I was having really bad nightmares, and I had to take anything edged out of reach while I settled through this whole nightmare system. But I kept that. Anyway, walking. This is me moving. Moving on. But actually, some Screama stick action might really be up her alley then. Give me a wacky stick in my cane. Yeah, that is stout, and that is a good idea too. I like that. I know Doug Marcaida is really good at it. I think he has some training DVD videos out there. I just went to the best Screama fighter who, well known, that pops to my mind. Oh God, who is that Grandmaster? There's some amazing Grandmasters. Screama makes sense. It's so delightfully logical. This is how to beat somebody with a stick. Look into that. We may have been overthinking your weapon adjustment for a long time, and I really think that might help. But I also think Foxy might like this as a hatchet. This is really for the people who need a light grade of weapon. This is weight wise not far from my mouse hawk. And actually, throwing tomahawk handles would work great too. I'm serious. They have a bit of an edge. They refined grip. They're usually hickory or very stiff oak, solid wood. Pop. I don't do Screama like there's a couple real pretty Screama patterns. Jim does them actually. And maybe when things stabilize, I can get Jim to do a good Screama intro video. He's a lefty too, and I can't remember if you're a lefty. But we can work on that. That's what we do here, folks. We help people find the weapons and the training that makes them feel right. Now, getting back to this kit that Joey gave me, it also came with this little knife. Now, I've been trying to save up / justify, which is ridiculous because they're very inexpensive, and be leaning lefty. That's how I am with my fighting, or at least how I was. Now, who knows? My nerves don't work at all, so I don't even know how I'm going to fight. This little dude came with this nice sheath. I mean, it isn't a complete loop, so it has a bit of release here. So if I were to wear it on a belt, I would probably tie it off so it couldn't pop off that easy. But this is a work knife. And yes, YouTube, I am holding up a tool knife. This is a tool knife, okay? But it has an incredibly positive grip, okay? This is going to stay in your hand, wet, dry, whatever. And if I can get it to pop out, and unfortunately, I don't know if I can get it to pop. There we go. It also came with a little fire starter. Now, I am indoors, so it would be irresponsible for me to take the back of my blade, drag it across here to get the paint off, and then set sparks flying off this thing because they could start a fire. That's what it's made to do. But we may play with this to see if this is a viable fire starter. It also contains I bet if I blew that, I bet that's a safety whistle. I bet other people could hear that. I can barely hear that. So if that tone was loud, I am sorry. But that's real close to the range of things I can't hear. That's interesting. But it just, let me put that here. It nestles very nicely right into your grip. And it's in a place where it's not likely to fall out and your grip retains it. This is a knife that came not sharp enough. It really, really came not sharp enough. Now, most things don't ship sharp. Oh, I am so sorry. Penalty. Our dog did not like. I apologize. To tell you about the hearing loss range, I could barely hear that. But the knife, yeah, it came with, oh, he is much more comfortable with her having blades since she is more of a target needing a cane and such. I understand that completely, Kitty, and that's a good point. I heard it just fine, sadly, LOL. I am sorry. It occurred to me. I'm like, that's not loud. But it came with this really nice little, well, okay, not really nice. This moderately functional whetstone. So I have got it where this is not a razor edge. This is a working edge. Do I have anything I can try to cut with this? I mean, I have stuff. I always have stuff. Index card, your time is at hand. I highly doubt this will cut nice at all because this is barely what I consider a working edge. But let's see if there's enough stiffness to get it cut. Not really. Yeah. So this really doesn't want to cut. I have to work on this, which I intend to. And I totally won't be using my piece of aluminum. I would never take an aluminum bracket because it's a softer metal and just draw across the blade at all, you know, and then flip it and maintain roughly the same functioning angle. I would never recommend that as a way to check if you can sharpen a knife at all. I mean, there's no real difference. But yes, it does come with a piece of whetstone. I do prefer using a piece of aluminum scrap or any softer metal, an old nail, a cheap screwdriver, the side of a Jeep. That's how I was taught to sharpen knives. But this did such a much better job. I may just get a bunch of these little. I don't know where I got. I think I literally found this in a. Oh, I know what this is. This is a busted gutter piece, but it's just soft. It is just soft aluminum that makes for just a handy little knife sharpener. And I'm sure some very professional knife people would be offended. This is the difference between me with, oh, it's a beautiful sword piece, treat it well. And this is I might baton with this thing. This is for cutting stuff, okay? I like this knife. This has a surprisingly stout feel. I don't know how much tang this is. I don't think this is a true full tang, but it's still a solid little knife. I like it. And there's nothing wrong. Oh, let's see. It's true. I do prefer her to have something sharp. But if she wants bludgeoning weapons, we will work around that. And remember, tastes can change and evolve. And it's much safer to begin your training with bludgeoning weapons and then embrace the edge as time allows. Nice little noise. Just like when hit a low kick on somebody's shin to stop a goal. Ref wasn't happy for some reason. I have no idea what you're talking about. But but yes, this. So I really, if you can find this knife set, this is a surprisingly good little knife set. Now there was one other piece in this. Let me put this away. That is both delightful and utter balderdash. I don't know the purpose of this. This is a pair of scissors. Okay. Now, what's nothing wrong with a travel pair of scissors? As someone with facial hair, I find that intriguing as well. But the means of one carrying it eludes me. And I will say why. Because you would think, oh, well, it's got a keychain, right? Oh, why would you have that? Well, the keychain, and I'll get to Thesis's comment in a moment, is not a true keychain. You pull it like the pin on a grenade, and these spring-loaded scissors now can theoretically cut. The only problem is they are slightly loose, so that it will try to bind. And little scissors are useful, but these scissors, I cannot explain to you just how horrifically I could almost slingshot from the spring in these scissors, which is nice. I love having a little counter spring for scissors, but the design means it wobbles and it catches on the edge, and the scissors are so powerful that I have trouble working them. But they're delightful. It's like they're so bad at what they do. I haven't really cut anything with them because I've laughed about them. I mean, I'll be horrific and I'll cut paper with them. They are deucedly sharp, but they're a little tricky to control. So I may have to take and actually try to bend these bars out. And then you have to hold them together, and while it's under tension, wedge the little retainer pin. These are delightful. Not quality, but delightful. I'm torn on what to say about these because they're so bad they've looped around to being almost good because they're amusing. A great fun, and you can't replace the kind of laugh I got for those scissors. So these are like survival must-haves. The fire starter knife, fire starter. So, I mean, what other thing I like about this? Okay, good retention sheath, right? They understand. You see that little raise here, this bump? You see that? Let me see if I can get you a good angle. Yeah, that's a good angle. It's very easy to see. It's very natural to put your thumb there and go, push with the thumb, and the knife comes out. Push with thumb, knife come out. I like that. The finish is interesting. I do not know what kind of steel it is. It probably said on the package, but what I had to do to get the package opening basically destroyed the package. This is a fascinating little knife, though. So I'm very fun. And yes, I gave Trey and Joey a penny each just to be safe. There is a tradition where if a friend gives you a knife or something with an edge, you give them a penny to symbolically buy it so that you don't sever the friendship. I did the same thing when my buddy, actually, no, this wasn't my buddy Jason. This little bar rasp Damascus knife that I wasn't supposed to use, but obviously, it's me. I use it. That's much sharper. This was a gift too. But they asked me to talk about this knife, and I talk about this knife. This is a good little knife. But yes, so I got these lovely bits. And Foxy, if you could get a hold of a stick like this, it would be a great trainer for you. That was part of it. Now, we've gone on to that. We're about halfway through. Oh, the comments. Let's see, comments. I always start my students with staff work to begin with. It's a universal weapon, and when you're in danger, you can always, quote unquote, find a stick. We need to go over the classes of improvised weapons at some point because you have big stick, little stick, sharp stick, big stick, little stick, sharp stick, mass weapon, thrown weapon. And that is basically all your improvised weaponry falls into one of these categories. And yes, my Swiss Army knife has a teeny pair of scissors. So useful. Those are. And I have several little Swiss Army knife rigs. Of course, none of them are available here because that would be useful. Where the teeny scissors are useful. So useful. And we have several sticks. Sticks are good. Kitty says, we figured out quickly that staff wasn't for me. It's too stiff for my movements. I find that interesting because a lot of it depends on the kind of staff and how you're using it. But I can see that, given that you're a rope dart nut, and I mean that in the highest esteem. Rope dart is a very fluidic style, but I do encourage everyone to be able to make the 5 bases go. The stiffness of the staff complements the weakness of my joints. Absolutely. And that's why I said something like this. Start, if you can, walk with a walking stick instead of a staff, a walking stick or a staff instead of a cane. If you can support yourself reliably this way, because this gives you a lot more tactical options. Tries not to type the joke that comes to his stupid mind. Tries. We appreciate the effort, Johnny. We really do. I don't think you're on Facebook. If you were on Facebook, I would send you a link to a very elite organization of lunatics. Go for it. Thesis knows I like the wood, says Foxy. Oh, guys, come on. So let's rank things. Before we go, of the 4 pieces in this kit, I actually have to rank the knife the highest. This is just a splendid little work knife. Oh, and Thesis says, oh, don't worry, Johnny. I've never had any complaints about the stiffness of my stick. Well, at least not lately. There it is. I like knowing that I can count on my viewers to go to the lowest common denominator. Now, I'm going to have to go out and do some bushcrafty attempts with this when all the weather lets loose, assuming I still can. Anyway, so ranking number 1 this. That would be my hand turning off. I've had that good of a day. And without crossing the line into band territory, says Foxy. Absolutely. Number 2, the hatchet, which I'm so glad I put back in its sheath. Weapon safety, folks. That wasn't me being unsafe. That was my hand not working because I've had that, like I said, I've had that kind of a day. This is a very nice weapon. I can make this go. I do see some problems, and from a fighting angle, this is not bad. But here's a check. If you're looking at using this for anything other than a very specific kind of like craft chopping, you see how it goes from narrow to very thick right here? Wood is going to slam and beat this all up. No. Number 2 hatchet, is that a more advanced poop knife? Wow. But hey, I made it go for all that it was larger than I. Anyhow, because I can take that comment and apply it to any number of the things we said. What this means is this axe is going to constantly bang the heck out of its handle, which is not the best thing in the world. This probably would throw knife. Well, let me see. Where's the balance point? This might throw better than you think. It may break on the first throw. I don't know. But so proud. The Claymore, Nick, is what I was talking about. Oh, I figured. But, I mean, we had both a poop knife and the earlier jokes. So this is an interesting... I have to play with it more. I'm a bit of an axe purist when I talk about the ones I carry. But the balance is so nice. So we'll see. It was definitely funny, but no way. Yeah, I can see that. Claymore is not for everyone. Two-handed sword is not for everyone, but it's for a lot more people than people want to admit. Even I'll admit it. Then I guess the whetstone comes next because it can put an edge on metal. It's just I'd rather use a piece of aluminum. And then these scissors that are a danger to themselves and others. I want you to see intently, guys, when we talk about this. Look at the fit and finish on that. Can I get to focus in? I mean, it is outstandingly totally tight. No, it's not good. It's not going to zoom in, is it? We'll clarify. Don't get blurry. Come on, catch it, autofocus. So I can see why these were swapped out for a folding saw in other kits, but I've had so much fun talking about them. There's a part of me that really wants to just wedge this in my wallet somewhere because it's a delightful little pair of scissors. So that was my kit. Let's see. It was taller than me. I have a lovely my Odachi is probably taller than you. I have a pipe hawk for my collection. It's pretty forward heavy. I have several hawks. I really want to try out this little mouse hawk. Although with the weather, it's gotten a little looser than I like, and I put grip tape, so I can't quite get it back where I want it. So that grip tape may have to come off, which would be a tragedy. But this has got that where it flares so it can split. Now, if I brought one of the real splitting hatchets out, it's you have the edge of the weapon and then the wedge behind it. So interesting weapon, but more interesting as a tool. I could do a lot with this little guy. And what I like is that this is designed to have field expedited handles. You just break off or saw off a chunk, whittle it down, and you're good to go. That's why these will always be my favorite style of hatchets for that. Now, if they had one of these with a flat hammer head on the back a little bit more, which I have seen in larger headed hatchets, which I have one somewhere. There are reasons people aren't allowed in my study. I would talk about this all day. This is delightful. But you have to, when we're talking axes, you have to find things that fit your hands. And some people are very large, and they need big old soup can handles to feel comfortable in their hands. Now you're talking 7-foot katanas. Sephiroth proved it can totally proved it can work, right? And now the Latin is in my head. And now I can hear, come, 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 my son, Sephiroth. Can you use oversized katanas? Yeah, they happened. For certain things, in certain settings. But you can't cut through a tank with it. And he's probably a good bit taller than I. Yeah. I'm just over 5 foot for reference, Johnny. I'm sure you could handle it. Well, if we ever get you guys out here, or I end up out there, well, actually, given the weaponry involved, the Odachi is 5 foot easy. So that would be dicey. I still need to try to put a cross piece on that. Because then I'd have a Vampire Hunter D sword, which is just cool. Is it practical? No. Not really. It'd be like, I don't know what's bigger than Krieg for Kriegmesser. It would be like an Emperor Messer. But an Uberkriegmesser? Possibly. That's actually probably not bad. I have to ask my friend Stephanie. She speaks fairly fluent German. But that would be cool. Not practical, nigh unusable, but cool. And I'm pretty sure you could handle it. The only way you can't cut through a tank is if the tank is made of katana. Snort. Oh, that reminds me. Nick, I found an awful thing the other day that made Thesis cringe. Tell us all you have eager minds waiting. And guys, wherever you're watching this, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I usually try to remind you at the halfway into the hour, but do it. Happy Friday, Nick. Happy Friday. Cat Raphael. Hashtag let cat art. How are you doing? I hope you're having fun. We're talking weapons and acquisitions and knives and good things. And I was sharpening my knife with a chunk of aluminum because that's how I roll. That reminds me. Anyway, oh, I've got something stuck to my knife. That's not good. Anyhow, wait. Bad, pointy handle sword. It was some type of halberd thing that was like those ugly swords you had. Oh, no. Well, that depends. Halberds are strange dudes. I'd have to see it to be able to 100% write it off. Because halberds are very, very... Some halberd designs are historically accurate and even proved useful, but are problematic. I'm just doing a bit of polishing here while I talk. It was purple. Oh my. Well, we can set up another folder if you guys are feeling the urge to find more nightmarish weapons. Although you'd be hard pressed to find worse than you found last time. But yes, getting back to it. Foxy doesn't know this, but I'm an old, well, should know this. I'm an old school swordsman, old school RPG player, and I was a DM for a long time, so most of my time was spent playing support classes. It's partially why I very rarely play a fighter. But there is nothing wrong with taking a clerical pursuit. In fact, I prefer to use a stick or my cane in self-defense over knives or swords or axes, unless I'm out in the woods. If I'm out in the woods, I'm a little more aggressive because, I don't have civilized help for... oh, that's better. I don't know if you can hear that. What I am doing, do not do this unless you've talked to somebody. I'm very careful. When I check, you never... Okay, let me put this away. You may see me check the sharpness of a knife. This is a practice thing. Do not do this unless you're a professional or you're an old guy who eats apples with a knife. You know that guy. He knows how to do this. So I'm going to use the sheath of this knife to give you an example so you can see it. Never try to check the sharpness of a knife like that. That will cut you to the bone. Even on a dull knife, it will cut you. Very, very lightly you graze sideways, and if the knife is extremely sharp, what I am feeling are the ridges of my fingerprints going across the knife edge. It takes a lot of training, a lot of practice. Do not do that at home. Okay? Sorry, I wanted to answer that. Had way too many blade points going in every direction. I'm at it. See, if you can find it, since you are wrenched and can post a link. You're not wrenched? Hold on. Let me see who's not. I'll bring this up while I'm talking to you guys and try to bring. So D is your favorite swordsman. D is one of my favorite swordsmen of all time, both from the novels, because if you haven't read them, they are amazing. I got most, if not all of them, again, through a humble bundle, like the 30 some odd, 26, 30 Vampire Hunter D ebooks. They're amazing. Oh my gosh, yes. But he is gorgeous to read if you like that style. His is a very aristocratic style, and his weapon is very East meets West. Uh, uh, Zorro is my favorite swordsman of all time, bar none. I can't help it. I'm that guy. Beyond that, wow, beyond Zorro, yeah, D's way up there. There are a few others, but because I don't know if I count Jedi as swordsmen. Because lightsabers are kind of swordy and they're kind of not. They're very strange. We'll have to. Zatochi's up there too. That was awesome. That was an awesome German accent. I now see. I can't do it because you compliment me, but you speak German a bit. Studied language for 6 years. I don't. I wish I had studied German. I picked up German from my relatives and my dad, who picked it up from his dad, who had to work to speak English. They were of the you come to America, you learn to speak American English because that's part of being an American. That generation. But once in a while, I get tired. It sounds stupid, but there are a couple languages that I can parse surprisingly well the more tired I am. Most of your romance languages, I can, if I'm not bothered and all I'm doing is paying attention, I can usually parse it okay. That's your French, your Spanish. Portuguese is weird. I can get German. I can't tell you how. Oddly, Welsh sometimes makes sense to me, but I studied a bit of Old English, so that could be part of it too. Or Middle English, not Old English. I studied Middle English. I studied in high school Latin for a year, and then Magister Remmel retired, and I realized it wasn't going to port easy into Spanish or French, so I studied Japanese for 2.5 years. The first year I did great. The second year, my teacher was a very young, attractive woman, and I was highly distracted. And I was asked to drop out. Not that I'd done anything wrong, but that I wasn't scoring high enough, and she really didn't want me in there. So, for that reason, there was a trip coming up, and she was worried I wouldn't do well. So then I had study hall where I studied applied larceny through the Michigan City area school system, which is a joke, guys. I'm kidding. Let's see. I can try. Sounds like a challenge. I'm doing good and hope you are too. Counting down the days to my winter break. Oh, I can't wait till you get a winter break. I actually had a break today in that I went to a doctor's appointment and found out that it was next week. So I was suddenly by myself because Mandy and Sandra both have a cold and weren't really traveling in Lafayette with little to do. Little that needed done. So I had a grand adventure. I went to Goodwill and I had a very, very delightful couple cheeseburgers, and I went to Sage's and I spent $20 at Goodwill and $2 at the local game shop on Magic Cards, and then I did the grocery shopping and came home. But for me, that was a tremendous outing. I haven't had an outing like that in quite some time because I don't get out. And it's maybe once or twice a year I get out for any length of time without Xander with me. And I love my son. He is my world. But it's kind of odd. And it's funny. I quickly become me, like pre-grown up me almost. Quiet. I'm happy, but I'm humming to myself and just kind of doing my thing. And it was just a very nice time. Johnny, can I be a cleric of the Oath of Edge? You're a paladin to Edge, aren't you? Aren't you like Lord Johnny Cage, the Edge Lord of all? And I know that they're trying to do something else with you on when Valkyrie presents, but I haven't been able to follow it. I like her with cane sword, but she needs something in her offhand. She said the single hand feels naked when she's using single hand weapons. There are cane swords that can deploy while retaining the capacity to cane, which are some of my favorite. I have one that shoots a 20-inch bladed, double-bladed dagger straight up out of it, but it's got a large mushroom head. It's a little deucey, little dicey. But I would like more options like that, because for me, any time I'm using a cane, I need to cane with it. Let's see. My favorite's not that I want to ask. Please do. Limu Bai from Crouching Tiger. Excellent. Zautochi and Zoro. Honorable mention are Wei Wuxian from The Untamed. All great characters. I have to go a little, like I said, fairly ancient in a lot of my stuff. I do love the Pirates of the Caribbean fight choreography. That is fantastic. As is, there was an incredibly aggressive saber movie, and there's one version of Count of Monte Cristo that is phenomenal, and I can't remember the relevant details of either. What am I saying? What are we saying? We're talking movie swordsman? What are we saying? Stop the presses. I have shamed myself in omitting the two greatest swordsmen alive for a long time. That being Wesley the Dread Pirate Roberts and Inigo Montoya. Yes, give me some Mandy Patinkin and Carrie Ewes. They were probably some of the best. As up there is Viggo Mortensen, another for actors. So that means I keep saying Strider because I like that name better than Aragorn. But yes. Thesis says, I took 2 years of German in high school, but only because I already had 2 years of Spanish and wanted to challenge myself. That makes sense. Kitty, I speak English and I'm studying Bengali and Mandarin. That is a useful spread with current events. Oh. I'm a little too ADD, and this is diagnosed, for deep dives into language, because language doesn't often fit hyperfixation. As fast as I can't learn it fast enough to stick when the brain, is chasing the dopamine. It's much like math. Plus, finding out you're dyslexic explains why some of my language studies were a little challenging. Although Latin was nice because word order was not as important as suffixes. I don't remember, I can't talk about Latin, but I can understand it, and it was really, really great in helping me instantly expand my vocabulary through understanding source words. Portugal's Portuguese is worse. I bet. Joe Bachman. Hi, Joe. Grabs a bottle of water, tips his hat to the host, drops a light, grabs a chair, and heads toward the back of the room. Welcome back, Joe. We complimented and had a whole breakdown on your generous weaponry gifts. And we've been talking languages and all sorts of things. It's been a very active night. I tried Portuguese for a bit, Johnny. It was interesting. It's not that hard. I learned it when I was like 2. I am not finding the ugly again. No worries, no rush. Language is very, very difficult for me. So so is math. Other things are easy. Well, my problem with math and language is vagary. Some people, I have walked into social faux pas where people have misunderstood what I'm saying because the meaning of words to them has changed much faster than it has to me. And something either has a fixed meaning or a very, very nebulous, malleable meaning. And it's very hard for it to be anything in between for me. It's just the way my mind works. I think three-dimensionally. So I'm constantly rotating concepts around and floating them in a kind of a star. You ever see a three-dimensional map on a sci-fi of a star chart? A lot of logic gets like that in my head. Let's see. Thesis says the only reason why Wusun, and I know I'm not saying that right, but I'm going to honorable mention, is while he gets his sword taken away about quarter way through the show, he never uses it again. Exactly. Oh, fictional sword fighter. My man Kenshin. My man Roini Kenshin. Kenshin Himura. Samurai X for the Americans who didn't learn it any other way. What a fun dude. And that is one of the few things where the live action of that anime is actually better visually than the anime. Because I love that show, but a lot of the fights had shortcuts. The live action was just exquisite. And I'm a sucker for pre-wire fu as well. And there's some wire fu in that necessarily, but old kung fu movies that have no wire fu and good blade work. I'm learning Mandarin and Scots Gaelic and reviewing my Spanish because I can. Excellent. I am privileged to be surrounded by such well-rounded polymaths, to be kind of people with all these languages. It's just fascinating. Wuxen, he wasn't an evil guy. He just had a different idea of what good was and got persecuted for it. And this is annoying me. I saw the ugly. It happens. It happens, guys. No, it's Friday night, guys. There's no room for annoyance. I'm going to probably, now that I've got a decent edge on this, and no, while I'm sitting here, I might as well put a decent edge on this. The fine art of improving yourself is an endless journey. Okay? This is why I will never grow old. I will grow forgetful because I have certain cognitive problems. Let me see if this works better. That does work better. Oh, that's sort of... This is Nick ASMR here. Hold on. Oh, this just... I'm used to using a flat file to sharpen an axe. Oh, it's like butter. That's not bad for an axe, guys. That's not bad at all. Anyone who hasn't seen that, I highly recommend watching The Untamed. It's 50 episodes, so you need to set aside some time. But it's a wonderful show. That sounds fun. A movie I will respond to with some of the best weapon-based martial arts that I've seen in a long time. It's a movie that had huge names and no one went to see it. And Woody Harrelson, Demi Moore, Ron Perlman, and God, who was it? It wasn't Brad Pitt. I can't remember what the cowboy's name was offhand. But Banraku. Banraku is an amazing, amazing film. And I really recommend you watch it. See, Joe Bachman says, I don't learn other languages anymore. I mostly learn languages to speak languages that talk to computers and mobile devices. And that's totally valid. And that's where you should be, Joe. Because what you're doing with apps and stuff impresses the living heck out of me. And it's the same mentality. I don't have enough phlegm for this. Tapad let Charade. Taeth. Nope. Nope. Yeah, it's Scotch, but I have to be careful because if I mispronounce things, I summon things, and that's been a problem in the past. Anyway, bless you. Yes, bless you indeed. Well, folks, that hour went fast, didn't it? I hope you all had a very good time with this. We talked about some really neat kindness materials, and danged if I didn't get a couple knives sharpened, which is always a good thing. Having a few techniques to sharpen a knife is always a good thing. Knowing how to check and maintain your gear is a good thing. We may talk some practicalities about that, but we are past an hour, and honestly, I haven't seen much of my family today, so I will probably duck out of here real soon. So thank you. That was evil thesis, funny but evil. I have not translated that, and I'm not going to say something that could get me in trouble, and I can't run it through a translator with the way the system that I have has access to. I can't highlight and steal whole comments. It's problematic. So I hope you all had fun. I'm not sure what you said. Wait a second. You didn't try to get me to say I'm a cryptid, did you? Anyhow, we'll figure out what's going on there. Next week, let's see. Next week we're halfway to Christmas, or better than. We'll be very close to the whole holiday season. We'll talk more gear and gifts, what to get people, what to ask for, and what to get when you go shopping after Christmas. Today's, let's see, 2 days episode is brought to you by Wooden Swords. If you use this link, and that should, yes, is this either a question or an and, should help you get access to the weapons and get me a lovely kickback. So affiliate links are welcome. Let me see if it will let me go through the banners. It is also made possible by bit.ly/JBTechApps, home of the Big Stumpy Robots, and igg.me at Hybrids RPG. Yes, if you want to see what Luke has done with the raw form of the RPG I gave him, Lord knows a while ago, to make a wonderful superhero and base for a heck of a modern RPG, go there. Sign up. The Kickstarter launches January 10th, but you can get behind the scenes info and exclusive goodies. Luke is good about that if you sign up now. So please sign up early so that that IGG and Luke both know that this is an important process. Okay? Thank you. I don't normally plug on the show that way, but it was rather necessary. And I would never. At least let me in on the joke off the air if my brain is trying to I don't speak Gaelic. I don't speak Scots. But danged if my brain isn't trying to translate it anyway. With that bit of existential horror, I will leave you guys with this. Guys, do your drills. Are you doing your drills? I'm doing my drills. Keep your guard up because you can't block what comes in if you don't have your guard up. Eyes around. Okay, I can't actually look at it through here. So I will check that later and see if I can look at it through Facebook, through YouTube. If not, DM me that link, please. And anybody, if Thesis doesn't have a wrench, I'm going to fix that in just a second. But other than that, I will see you all next week. So, eyes open, be kind to yourself and each other, and thank you for supporting your local swordmaster. You'll see me again real soon. This went fast.